All right, what's going on? It's Christopher K. from 107.9 The End with our newest Sacramento celebrity. This is very exciting. Clare from The Bachelor. Hi, Clare.
How's it going?
Doing awesome. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so we have a little backstory we got to get out of the way first.
Okay.
This is kind of like a reunion for us because we knew each other back in the day.
That is true.
A long time, well, not that long ago. Well, a long time ago.
10 years.
It's been a decade. Back when we were in our 20s and having fun.
Yes.
So we've had a little fun reminiscing. It was very interesting for me watching you on the show this season, just kind of knowing a little behind the scenes. But and I was like, Clare, you need to come in. We need to talk about this. I need to put you on the radio. And now you're so important. You've got publicists
Get
and all
outta
these things.
here.
Come on now. So I started following you on Twitter. I found you were like during the first episode, you had like 600 followers. Now you have like well over 50,000. Were you ready for this?
It's been crazy. I didn't think it would be this big because I never really watched the show. And I know
Really?
it's weird to say, yeah, but
What?
I never
So
watched
I watched
the
The
show.
Bachelor more than you?
That is true.
That is weird.
I know, right? I knew who people were and from past seasons and kind of who won and stuff like that, but I just never really followed it.
Okay.
It's
How did
crazy
you
though.
follow it this year? That's what I want to know. Because obviously you film it and it's done, and then you go home and can't tell anybody anything, of course. So each week, were you like so excited? Did you watch it with your friends, your
I don't know
family?
if excited is the word.
Cringing? Like, what are they going to make me look like this week?
It was more nerve-wracking because I didn't know how it was going to come out. You never know. Every
Right.
day they're filming 24 hours a day, so much footage, there's so much they can get. I'm thinking, I'm sitting here thinking, are they going to get the time where I caught the bird in my room? Like, are they going to show this or that? You never know. So you never know what's going to play out. And I know a bunch of people were having like viewing parties and stuff like that, but I just kind of hung out with my family and friends and did a little bit of this sometimes.
Don't watch that part. Well, you, right from the very beginning, were kind of the one everyone was talking about. Like I was telling my friends, you took the lead immediately. You were the one that all the other girls were trying to catch. It started off with your little belly. Was that your idea? Or did
It was completely
you trying to
my
make
idea.
an impression?
Yeah, right. It was completely my idea. My biggest thing was I've always come into relationships where guys don't want to be in a relationship. They want to have fun. They want to have a good time, but they don't want anything serious. And for me, I thought, what can I do that's who I am and how I am and what I want? And I think I want to be a mom, I want to have babies, and I want to get married.
That's
and
awesome.
so to me, if that scared him away, it wasn't meant to be. But
Like, you'll know right
loved
up the front. Yeah, you thought it was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I did. It's interesting, all these reality shows. Some are hugely popular. I'm not really a big reality show guy, but this is one. I watch The Bachelor with my wife fairly religiously because it's fun to talk about on the radio too. But watching it, knowing you, and watching it, I think most people, I don't know if they know they're real people, but they're almost like cartoon characters. And they love to, when they're happy, be happy. When they love to attack them when they see something that they don't like. And it's weird realizing that you're a person, you have feelings, and so watching it was very different. So how, because I think it's safe to say you had your heart broken at the end, right?
Yeah.
Can you say it?
I definitely was crushed. I was definitely crushed.
Were you able to get over it quickly because it was just a TV show, or walk me through those feelings?
Not because it was
Weird.
a TV show, but because Juan Pablo made it very easy to walk away from. I think a lot of people who've left the show before, I don't know their feelings, but how I left is something, and I tell everybody this, it's something I'd never done before. And so standing up for myself and saying exactly how I felt, it felt so good to me. And I've always left relationships and been like, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have said that. And, but I said exactly how I felt. And exactly how he made me feel was the complete opposite of what I was expecting to come out of this with. Even if I wasn't the one in the end, to be talked down to and just disrespected, that for me put it all out on the line, and that to me was where I drew the line and said, I'm done with this. I don't need another man like that.
Well, safe to say you had one of the greatest exits, I think, in the history of The Bachelor. I think so. So from all the women that have been scorned out there, they want to give you a high five right there. Were you going in, did you have any of that speech in your brain, or were you just 100% sure he was going to pick you?
I didn't have my speech in my brain. What I felt was, I'm going to say how I feel. And I knew that I wasn't just going to tuck my tail in between my legs and walk away. I've done that way too many times. And it was like brewing inside of me. And when he stood there and didn't say a lot of positive things and encouraging things, breakups don't have to be bad.
Yeah.
I could have walked away feeling okay with it. You know, it sucks, it's heartbreaking, but you could walk away and be told in a classy way, in a respectful way.
Right.
And especially on TV. And that was not like
No,
that for me. And
it
so
wasn't.
if you're going to stand there and disrespect me, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel.
Good. Yeah, he went in for the hug. You're like, no, don't think so. Don't care.
It's
Don't bother.
not cool. It's not cool. And so many people are like, did you plan that? Or what was this? Or you're so dramatic. But it was like, for me, just putting up with it for so many years from men in general. I had to.
Come on, men. Come on, men. What are we doing?
And on
Claire's
top
awesome.
of it, thank you. On top of it, my nieces and my nephews and children who I have in my life are watching the show.
Yeah.
And I really couldn't stand there and let them see me get walked all over.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, a lot of the women who I think along the way may have been kind of against you and had some nasty things to say, which we probably saw some of which on Twitter. I think you won them back over at the end. I think pretty much you're a good one now. You're not a bachelor villain.
I don't think I was ever a bachelor villain. It's people's perception, and
Yeah.
I think what other women say have some influence on that, and editing has some influence on that. So it's not that I'm a villain. It's just
Yeah.
that
Were you reading some of the Twitter along the way?
I saw some of it,
Yeah.
and like we talked about earlier, I'm a human being like everybody else. This isn't my profession to be on TV all the time. And so I wasn't ready for that. And yeah, it sucked and it hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's not. And there was so many episodes where I would just bawl my eyes out. But there was also those times, like at the very end, where I just, for myself, and not disrespecting Juan Pablo, but for myself, stood up for myself, and that overshadowed everything that was hard to watch.
Yeah. So someone wanted to know, was Juan Pablo really that big of a jerk? Did they edit it to make him look that way, or how was he off the cameras?
No, he was a great guy. He's a regular guy. And it's hard to say because I only saw a segment of him, and you see the good parts of him when you're around him, and especially being out of your elements, being away from your family, your friends, all that kind of stuff. You are kind of in the zone of him. And when they're making him look good and he's coming off really sweet and charming, and that's what, in my head, what I want so bad, you want it to work. You want to see the best in somebody, you know? Not to say he's a bad guy, but what he did was pretty rough on TV.
Yeah. So I want to know because there was a little bit of a language barrier this season, which was kind of funny. Like half the time he was like trying to have girls explain words. I'm like, dude, you don't know that word. Did he ever say anything that like was funny that he didn't realize what he was saying or anything?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but
Oh yeah, you are. Come on.
okay, I'll tell you. Funniest thing to me was when we were on the yacht in St. Lucia,
Okay.
and it started to rain, and it was the perfect moment. It was like gorgeous. There was these rainbows. You know, we're out in the rain, and it was beautiful. And he looks up and he's like, "Oh my God, it's starting to jizzle."
No.
That's not the appropriate
Not exactly
word.
what you meant to say, Juan
That is
Pablo.
not the right word.
They didn't show that part. Why didn't they show that?
Right?
That would have been awesome.
In this perfect romantic moment, I'm like, no, no.
Sorry, Juan Pablo. That's kind of awesome, though. So I thought it was weird. He kept talking about wanting to come to Sacramento and like move and live to Sacramento. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I saw through it. Were you believing all that stuff? He like the episode before, he told you he wanted to have kids with you and move to Sacramento.
When someone tells
I
you
feel
that,
bad for you.
don't feel bad for me. But when somebody tells you that and you want to believe them, it sounds appealing. And
Yeah.
you want to hear somebody tell you that. I want to move to be with you. I want to move to Sacramento. I want to have babies with you. Everything that I want, you know?
Yeah. I'm just picturing Juan Pablo in Sacramento. Juan Pablo better not come to Sacramento, by the way. The men of Sacramento are going to know. We're very nice here. But come on. That's kind of funny. All right, so we got it. The big controversy of the season was your big ocean scene with Juan Pablo. What happened?
What happened?
I know the way they spun it.
Okay.
Are you upset with the way it was portrayed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm upset at the way it was portrayed, or I was upset. But I think I'm upset at the way it was perceived because people have to understand it's not continuous rolling back to back to back to back. it really, in my eyes, was something innocent. I was in my head thinking, when am I ever going to be in Vietnam? When am I ever going to have this opportunity to swim the ocean? I'd begged the girls all week to do that. And I finally said, I'm going to do it with or without him. And it was just something that I wanted to cross off my bucket list.
Yeah.
And he was the reason why I was there. And his room was right there. And I made it very clear when I went to his room, I'm not here to come in. I'm not here for any other intention than to see if you want to come swim with me. And if it looked bad, so be it. If it was portrayed bad, so be it. I know what happened, and I have that memory, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Okay. Well, then I think the first time a lot of people were starting to lean a little anti-Juan Pablo was when afterwards he kind of called you out for it, and he's playing the whole "my kid's gonna watch this" card. And did that upset you as well? Or because I mean, here he is making out with all these girls, and now he's calling you out for this.
That's the thing. If you're gonna pick and choose what you want to call people out for, he was just as guilty of it.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
And like I said, if he felt guilty for his intentions or what was going on in his brain, that's on him. Like I said, I would do it again. I had a blast. And I'm not ashamed of how I acted because I didn't do anything disrespectful to any person, and even disrespecting his daughter. That would be that's what made me really cry, was blaming it on me and not owning his part of it. Because anybody who knows me, the last thing I would ever do is disrespect somebody's child.
Yeah.
And that's crossing the line to me.
And I stuck up for you on the air through it too, because I'm like, I know, I didn't know her that well, but I knew her a little bit back then. I'm like, come on, Claire's a good girl. She's not going to do stuff like that. So I had your back. Sacramento had your back. So was there ever any talk about you maybe being the next bachelorette? Who approaches who with that? Was that ever in discussion?
It was in discussion. I think for me, it was still too raw for me.
And would you have wanted that?
Who wouldn't want to have the opportunity to have 25 people saying, I want you, you know, I think this could work. Who wouldn't want that?
But have the entire country watch it on a nightly basis.
Exactly. And it's one thing, what I had to think about was to be one of 27 women and to feel like everybody's going like this. At that time, it was still so raw and so fresh. And I was heartbroken at how people were reacting to it. It really just crushed me.
Yeah.
But to be the one person where, you know, everybody has to focus on, that's a hard spot to be in. I know it was hard for Juan Pablo, and it's a hard spot to be in. But not to say it wouldn't be something exciting and something cool, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I love is that I have come back to Sacramento and just become Claire again. And I was never on it to be on TV. I was never, oh, it sounds crazy, but I was never on it to be an actor, have something better, kind of be seen. It wasn't that, but it's kind of morphed into something kind of like that because I've had, which I love and which I'm completely shocked at and humbled at, is I always celebrate it. It makes me cry talking about this, but I have like teenagers and young girls and people writing me hundreds of messages a day that have really touched my heart and said, like, seeing you stick up for yourself and that kind of thing. It seriously took me 33 years to figure it out. And having 14-year-olds saying, God, it's cool to stand up for yourself. Like, if I could do something to help somebody or to make a difference, even if it's for that one girl or, you know, that one person, if there's something I can do or something that I can be a part of, I would be more than happy to do something like that, something that's positive like that, you know? That's
so cool. Well, yeah, that moment was definitely, like I said, one of the biggest moments, and I think women everywhere relate to that. So, well, that's awesome. Well, I think you're a good role model, so if there's any young ladies out there that, you know, from what I know of you. All right, so what did we learn today? Reality TV, editing, it's not always what it looks like on TV. Interesting. Claire from The Bachelor, best of luck. Maybe we'll see more of you on TV soon.
We'll see.
Yeah, thanks for watching the video, everybody. Christopher K. saying, see ya. Bye-bye.